We got some wedding drama. I have 4 weddings left this year, all happening within September and October. It's a busy time, and I hope there's no drama at these weddings for the sake of my friends. First story, am I the a-hole for leaving my best friend's wedding halfway through? Oh my God, some must have gone down for you to leave. I, 25 female, have been best friends with Kara, fake name, 26 female, since we were like 13. We've been through everything, high school drama, bad breakups, moving to different cities, all of it. When she got engaged last year, I was genuinely thrilled for her. Now here's where it gets messy. Kara met her now husband, Evan, about 3 years ago. I've never been the biggest fan, not because he's done anything terrible to me personally, but because he has this way of subtly belittling Kara in front of people. Like, she'll tell a story and he'll cut in with, "That's not how it happened," or "You're being dramatic." I've brought it up to her before, gently, and she just says, "That's how we joke." Fine, whatever. Leading up to the wedding, I was heavily involved. Planning the bachelorette, running errands, making sure she ate on the day of because she was stressed as hell. The actual wedding day started fine, but little things piled up. First, Kara's mom pulled me aside in the morning and basically told me not to outshine the bride in any way. I was wearing the dress Kara picked, so that threw me off. Then at the reception, Evan gives his speech and thanks his brother, who he said was basically the best man and maid of honor combined. He didn't mention me at all. I laughed it off because maybe it was just nerves, but I saw a couple people at my table give each other a look. Later, during the bouquet toss, Kara jokingly aimed it directly at her cousin instead of tossing it normally, then turned to me and said, loud enough for people to hear, "Well, you'll be single forever anyway." Everyone laughed. I laughed too, but it kind of hurt. The final straw was during the dancing. I was at the bar chatting with a mutual friend when Evan's brother came up and said, "Hey, Kara told me to tell you not to hog the attention on the dance floor. You're making her uncomfortable." I hadn't been dancing weird or anything, just normal dancing wedding fun, but apparently me existing in her orbit was now a problem. I went to find Kara to ask what the deal was, but she brushed me off with, "Can we not do this right now? It's my day." At that point, I felt like I was just not wanted there. I had spent months helping planning this wedding, paid for travel, a dress, gifts, and here I was being treated like I was crashing the party. So I told her I wasn't feeling well and I left before dessert. When I got home, my phone blew up with texts from Kara. At first it was like, "Where did you go?" Then, "I can't believe you ditched my wedding." And finally, "Everyone's asking where my maid of honor went. Do you know how bad this makes me look?" I explained that I felt unwelcome and she said I was being selfish and I was making it about me on her wedding day. I didn't respond after that. Now, a couple mutual friends are saying I overreacted and that weddings are stressful and people say things that they don't mean. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? We do have an update though, but where are you guys at now? Is she the a-hole? Do you think she should have just sucked it up, been there throughout the whole night, and then talked to her friend after the wedding? I'm just confused why the best friend, the bride, is acting this way. There seems to be some underlying jealousy issues there. We have the update. After the wedding incident, I decided to take a step back from Kara completely. I didn't block her, but I stopped initiating any contact. She eventually called me a few hours after I made the post, clearly trying to play the victim. She said she couldn't believe I left her wedding over nothing and that she's never been so humiliated by a friend. I told her very calmly that I didn't appreciate being told multiple times throughout her wedding day that I was outshining her when all I was doing was existing. I pointed out that I followed the dress code, danced like everyone else, and never once tried to make the event about me. She tried to say it was just banter when she made that comment about me never getting married, but I reminded her that it wasn't just that. It was her mom before the wedding warning me to not steal the spotlight, her sending her husband to tell me to stop dancing so much, and then blowing up my phone the moment I left. I told her if she really believed I was stealing the spotlight simply by being there, then she needs to look inward and figure out why she feels so insecure. Yeah, that's bizarre. I can't imagine my best friend sending her husband to be like, "Stop dancing so much." Girl, you know white chicks when it's like, "Where's Latrell? He's on the dance floor and he's got the whistle." He's like, and he's on drugs, but that's not me at a wedding. But the dancing and I'm not helping myself here. I just like to dance on the dance floor at a wedding, and I go hard, is all I'm trying to say. Now I have that in my head, and we just with the whistle. I can't do a whistle sound, clearly. How do you do like a sound of a whistle blowing? No, that's not it at all. I'm so tired. Okay, the conversation didn't go well. She accused me of being jealous of her marriage, which is laughable because I would never want to marry someone like her husband, who didn't even have the decency to mention his wife's best friend in his speech after a decade of friendship. I told her I don't want to be in a friendship where I have to shrink myself to make her feel better. We haven't spoken since. From what I've heard through mutual friends, she's been telling people that I stormed out of her wedding to cause drama. Luckily, most people were there and saw how ridiculous that was. The comments on my original post really solidified that I wasn't acting crazy for feeling humiliated. I'm glad I walked away because if someone's wedding is the peak of their self-esteem and they can't handle anyone else existing in the same room, that's their issue, not mine. Edit. A lot of people are asking me why the husband would have to mention me in his wedding speech. He doesn't. It makes a lot of sense why so many people are asking this. It was mentioned in the first post, but the quote, Evan gives his speech and thanks his brother, who he said was basically the best man and maid of honor combined. Which would you're kind of taking credit away from the maid of honor. I hope this clears up any doubts. Another thing a lot of people were questioning was why her family was asking me not to dim her light. I have no idea. I'm an introvert and almost always hate it when the attention is on me. A lot of people assumed I was an attention hogger or something. I could not imagine anything worse. Kara is honestly super insecure, and even though I think she's beautiful, during our friendship, she always compared her looks to me. God forbid she got one pimple, she would constantly talk about it and compare herself to me. Yeah, those are just some girl insecurity, jealousy issues. For sure. For sure. If that was you guys, would you guys leave through the wedding or would you just suck it up and then talk to her about it after the wedding? Let me know. Next story. Am I the a-hole for posting a picture of my stepdad walking me down the aisle? So for context, I, 23 female, have a very strained and rocky relationship with my bio dad, 45 male. When I was young, he cheated on my mom and basically abandoned me and my little sister Belle, 21 female, for his new wife, Amanda, 35 female. My mom remarried to my stepdad, Jason, 48 male, when I was 10, 2 years after my dad left. And Jason has been more of a dad to us than my bio dad ever was. My bio dad didn't come to my wedding, so honestly, I don't even know why I'm typing this, but here we are. I recently married the love of my life, Daniel, 24 male, on August 1st. The day was magical. Jason walked me down the aisle, and it meant so much to me. We went to Hawaii for our honeymoon, and when we got back, our photographer sent us a sneak peek of our wedding photos. Obviously, I posted a few, including one of Jason walking me down the aisle. An hour after I posted, Belle called me and asked me to take down that particular photo. She said our dad had called her saying it was disrespectful to let another man walk me down the aisle. She told him, well, you weren't even at the wedding. He apparently responded with, I would have gone if she had let me walk her down the aisle. Yeah, see, I'm already annoyed because you don't get the privilege of walking me down the aisle on a wedding day pretending to be my dad when you haven't been in my life. No. Being in my life is a freaking privilege, sir. You're not going to be in my life, but you want to walk me. No, you're not even at the wedding. What are you talking about? For the record, there was absolutely no way I was going to let him do that. He hasn't been there for me in years. And Jason has been the only one who's actually acted like a father. Now, Belle says I'm being petty and rubbing it in his face by posting the picture. And some extended family have started making comments about how I shouldn't air family drama online. I don't see how posting a photo from my own wedding is airing drama, but now I'm wondering if I'm missing something. So, am I the a-hole? I'm so annoyed by this. Airing drama? The only reason that dad is feeling that is because he isn't in your life. He's not around. If your stepdad walking you down the aisle and you posting a picture is going to affect him that much, he could have been in your life this whole time. You could have put in an effort. You could have been in my life. You could have walked me down the aisle. You weren't a dad to me. Why would you? That's wild. I ended up speaking with both my dad and Belle about the whole situation. First, with Belle, I told her to stay out of it altogether. I said if she's on our dad's side so much, she can have him walk her down the aisle at her wedding. I also made it clear that I'm not going to punish her for still talking talking to him, but I'm also not going to pretend he's been a father to me when frankly he never was. She didn't have much to say after that. Then I called my dad. That conversation went about how you would expect. He started with, "One day you'll understand," and that I needed to learn respect. I told him cheating wasn't respectful and neither was abandoning your kids, and that he hasn't been there for me since I was 10. Jason, however, has been there every step of the way, and he is now a father to me. That's when my dad hung up on me. LOL. Amanda then made a passive-aggressive Facebook post saying, "No matter things that happened in the past, you'll always be family." I'm about 99% sure that was about me, but I digress. At the end of the day, I'm still not taking the photo down. I don't want to make Jason upset if I do, and he deserves to be celebrated. I'm not letting my bio dad rewrite history just because it makes him uncomfortable. As you shouldn't, babe. Next story, my family wanted me to apologize profusely about my wedding/honeymoon. Oh my God, speaking of honeymoon, have you guys watched that? This has nothing to do with honeymoon. I'm just thinking of a cruise ship for some reason. Have you guys watched that poo documentary about the cruise ship? It literally has poo in the title. Like, I'm not making this up. It's on Netflix. You should watch it. I'm not selling it, but you should watch it. Before the wedding started, some people who were supposed to help didn't help set up. My family were my wedding planners. It was frustrating because we practiced and sent the itinerary to those said people. We ended up being really behind schedule due to this, and we were running around trying to rush and get everything set up. During this time, everyone was ambushing me at every chance, trying to talk or ask me questions, and I was getting overwhelmed because I had a million things that I was doing and thinking about. When we finished setting up, my fam helped me get ready. I was trying to move on and get over the little hiccup, but then my fam started talking smack about the people who didn't help and would not stop talking about it. People kept trying to get in and out of where I was changing, and it was so chaotic that I just burst out crying. My dad kept everyone out of the room that I was changing in besides the rest of my family. My family kept talking about what happened, thinking that would help the situation, but I ended up being really short with them by accident, asking them to please just give me some time to gather myself. After a few minutes of silence, I was able to gather myself. I quickly realized what I did, and I immediately apologized to them. I told them I didn't mean to snap at them, that I was overwhelmed and I needed some time to calm down, and that I was very grateful for them because I couldn't have done this without them. During/after the wedding, they were still upset about me being short with them earlier, so I sincerely apologized and thanked them a few more times. We went on our honeymoon right after the wedding. When we got back, my family told me they wanted an apology because I was a bridezilla. I asked them how I was a bridezilla, and they said it was because of that one time that I was short with them again. Then they started saying how we didn't introduce them to everyone at the wedding, we didn't have time, and how I should have called the people out that didn't help out, but I told them that I didn't want to create problems at my own wedding. They were also upset that I didn't FaceTime any of them during my honeymoon. I did text them updates about us being safe and what we were doing. Since they weren't satisfied with the amount of times I apologized to them previously and kept bringing up the same issues repeatedly, I apologized and de-escalated them over and over until they forgave me. This has been going on for months. I felt I couldn't jab back at them because they helped me so much with this wedding, and I truly do feel bad for being short with them that one time. Now, when I think back on my wedding and honeymoon, I can't help but feel bad it ever happened, and I wish it was a positive and not a negative memory for me. That seems unnecessarily dramatic though, truly. Like, how many times do you have to apologize for that? They're making it sound like you killed somebody. Perfect time. We are hopping on hydration station because I'm thirsty. All right, drink some water. Cheers. Next story, my sister-in-law live streamed our wedding to my husband's ex and played the bestie act while feeding her updates about our life. What should I not to do? Don't kill her. I need to stop. I keep forgetting to turn my phone off. Hello, I'm filming. Everyone's gonna say hi because I'm in the middle of recording. Matt says hello, everybody. Okay, we have air conditioning. If you guys were here for that update. If you guys missed it, our Windsor apartment in my hometown, the air conditioning broke in the middle of this heat wave. So it's fixed. He called to tell me that. I'm in our Toronto condo where it's nice and cold. So Imagine your sister-in-law secretly live streaming your wedding to your husband's ex and then pretending to be your best friend. I, 37 female, have been with my husband for 8 years, married for just over 2 years. He has a daughter from his first marriage, 10 female. I've been in her life since she was 2 and have always been a mom figure to her. For the last few years, her mom wasn't in the picture. She was in and out of rehab for addictions. When she finally got out, she was allowed supervised visitation, but sometimes she would show up drunk. The ex has been sober for a few years and fought for 50-50 custody when my stepdaughter was 6. During visits, the ex would often criticize my stepdaughter, asking who did her hair, and when she said I did, she would tell her her hair looked ugly or that she didn't look cute in an outfit that I had dressed her in. It got so bad that we eventually had to put my stepdaughter in therapy to ensure a healthy living situation. The ex initially refused therapy, and my husband had to threaten court action for her to agree. Therapy has helped 100%. So here's the problem. My sister-in-law, we'll call her Amy, who has been best friends with the ex since childhood, secretly live streamed our wedding ceremony and sent it to the ex, including private moments with me and my stepdaughter, who was our flower girl. We didn't even know this happened until September, a year later, when another family member told us. The day after our wedding, Amy went to visit her best friend, the ex, and that's when she gave her the rundown on our wedding. Later that evening, she called her husband, my brother-in-law, to tell him that she was going to spend the night with the ex and my stepdaughter because they were both having a hard time with the wedding, and she was going to stay for moral support for both of them. Before we found out about all this, we even went on family trips with Amy and my brother-in-law. On those trips, Amy would trash talk the ex, calling her an addict, a mess, and a horrible mother, all while hiding her own past struggles with addiction. She even faked a pregnancy 3 months after meeting my brother-in-law, which is how they got married. Sheesh, I am really letting it all out. You let it out, girl. Put it in the book. If you know, you know. Amy usually doesn't text or call, but when we see each other on holidays, she acts like my bestie. Recently, when my husband was hospitalized for serious medical condition, she was texting me 2 to 3 times a day asking for updates, which I'm sure she was passing on to the ex. After finding out about the wedding betrayal, my husband and I removed Amy and my brother-in-law from social media. My mother-in-law has had many issues with her too, but she's been trying to get us to hang out with Amy and my brother-in-law. My husband had to tell everyone that we found out, which she already knew but never told us. I don't blame her. As a mother, she wants to keep the peace. My husband really wants to confront my brother-in-law, but I'm not sure what good that would do. He believes his brother already knows because Amy has always been a problem, creating drama, talking badly about my in-laws, and basically everyone else. Back when my husband was still married to his ex, he actually called Amy out for her behavior, but my brother-in-law always defends his wife. So either he's blind to her behavior or just doesn't want to see it. But Amy is truly a piece of work, and my husband has no interest in dealing with her or her constant drama. His family is the type that sweeps everything under the rug and acts like nothing ever happened. So Reddit, what would you do in this situation? I don't know, but I know one thing, I'd be pissed. That's just so unnecessary. That's annoying when someone is like acting like your best friend to your face, talking smack about her best friend, and then going and playing the other role to her best friend. She's two-faced. I wouldn't trust her ever again after that. Next story, best friends were the worst part of my reception. It's been a few months since it happened, and I'm still feeling some strong emotions when my mind goes to how some stuff went down surrounding my wedding. I'm not in a place to confront the people involved, so I'm sending this out into the void, hopefully for some commiseration or feedback or advice on how to eventually bring it up to them. We eloped, then had a reception, and so we didn't have wedding parties, just a maid of honor and a best man to help us out setting up and taking down the reception and to give toasts. The whole time leading up to it, my maid of honor was talking about how I could come the night before to the cabin that she was renting and store the cupcakes, etc. in the fridge and finish crafting the centerpieces. One of my other best friends came from out of town and was staying in the cabin with maid of honor. The day before the reception came, and unrelated to the rest of it, I was going through a very difficult time with a different friend group that on top of the wedding stress had me in a bad state of mind. I was texting the group chat with maid of honor and my out of town out-of-town friend, venting my frustrations while I was baking the cupcakes to bring over later. I was really looking forward to some sisterly bonding and to distress from it all that night at the cabin together. I should note that I am usually the one lending their shoulder and ears, not the other way around, because apparently a bride having complex emotions the eve of the event was too much emotional labor for them to step up and help me through. They basically told me my vibe was bad and not to come to the cabin. I was absolutely floored. I could not believe what I was hearing, and I sent a text saying that I wasn't planning on complaining all night. I was just getting it off my chest because it's what I was going through, and that I was really looking forward to having a nice, quiet evening together. Nope, we don't want your energy. Come in the morning. I felt like I was in middle school being rejected by friends, and I cried on and off all night at home, imagining the night that should have been happening at the cabin, or rather the one that was happening without me, despite my wedding reception being the reason for it in the first place. The morning came, and as my husband and I were loading everything into the car, a situation happened with my mom where my growing fears about her cognition came to full fruition. Basically, she accidentally made plans with 2 different friends the night before to get to the reception without realizing, and the one she decided to tell she already had a ride got so mad that she told her she wouldn't be coming at all then. This is a woman I've known my whole life, and my mom has been good friends with since the 1950s. Needless to say, I was distraught, but I kept it cool to not upset my mom any further. By the time all of that was sorted, we weren't going to have time to stop at the cabin, so we went straight to the shelter where the reception was going to be to set up, and I let my maid of honor and my out-of-town friend know the updated plan. Nothing really changed on their end, and the plan was still for them to come before the reception started. Maid of honor would help set up, and my out-of-town friend would help put my hair up according to this super quick and simple YouTube short that I had sent her weeks before, and she said that she could do it no problem. Thank God the best man showed up to help, because otherwise we would have been on our own getting everything ready. Aside from about 15 to 30 minutes maid of honor's husband came by for, that was the help. They eventually strolled in about 15 minutes after the start time when other guests were already arriving. Out of town friend with hair supplies in hand, saying she hadn't watched the video I sent her, but we would figure something out, as if I was going to sit there getting my hair done in plain view instead of being hostess and welcoming everyone. Your hair wasn't done? I had to tell her that that ship had sailed and she just wouldn't be doing my hair. It would just have to go unstyled. She actually looked like she was the one put out and disappointed. My mom was there for just a couple hours, and I deeply regret not getting pictures with her. About halfway through the party, my out-of-town friend approached me and thought it was an appropriate time to tell me that when she talked to my mom, she seemed off and unhappy and said mean things about the party. Like she would rather be home and that she couldn't believe my friend had flown here for this, and said it with real disdain. When she saw my eyes welling up, she said, "Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to upset you. I just thought that you should know." At that point, she had no idea about what had happened with my mom earlier in the day to put her in such a mood. So for her, it was out of nowhere. But still, while the party is in full swing and I'm trying to enjoy myself, it was an absolutely inappropriate time to come to me with that. It cast a deeper pallor over an already difficult day. And I wasn't about to tell my husband that my mom had said those things and upset him with it too. So this is actually the first time I've externalized that interaction. I've been carrying it alone. Then my maid of honor and our best man told us that they were too nervous to give toast to the whole party. So we told them it was totally understandable, but we would love to hear what they had to say so we could toast with just us privately. The best man gave us theirs, and it was beautiful, and we all cried. Never heard about it from maid of honor again until a couple weeks later, the next time we saw each other, and they apologized that they didn't give one, but still never got even a summary of what they would have said. We had talked about giving speeches at each other's wedding since middle school. Basically, I feel totally disrespected by the people who mean the most to me, and the whole experience left me absolutely gutted and particularly ruined a once-in-a-lifetime event. I can't help but come back to all of this every time I think back on my reception. I am so thankful the elopement itself was the most beautiful day of our lives, because the reception was a complete crap show emotionally. me. Other than this stuff, it was a beautiful day and everyone had a really nice time. And I know in the future I'll be glad I stuck it out, but right now it's a sore spot that still aches. How do I move forward from this? How do I mend the memories and the feelings I have toward it in my mind so it can be something I treasure? I feel like you just gotta work through those emotions, whether that's talking it out with someone in therapy, anyone who's an outside perspective, and just giving yourself time to heal from that. Would an apology and accountability on their end make you feel better? Maybe you can talk to them. I don't know. I can't imagine. My best friends would never. They just would never. Let me know your thoughts, you guys. I'll see you in the comments. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy. Bye.